down below the 200 metres. War Machine leads. Private Eye is trying hard. It's War Machine in front, short of 100 to go. He's the leader. Flashing over the outside is Yellow Brick. War Machine gripping on. War Machine.
Welcome to Bet Dr. Brisvegas. Behind the curtain look at how pro punters operate. I'll struggle to get through the show here. We've had a nice little warm-up. Really warmed up from last night's Origin. Queensland got the chocolates. Me and GK, Queenslanders versus Walt, New South Wales. He's a phony New South Walesman because he lives in Queensland.
Ashley Klein got the chocolates, mate. What was it? 9... I think it was 9-0, the penalty count. Then it was 9-2, but the two penalties for New South Wales were overturned on captain's challenges of his original decision, which would have made it 11-0. So, yeah, they only just got the job done, the referees, didn't they? They just fell over the line 26-24, but it'll be interesting. Imagine if it was a blank slate in Game 4 and we had a halfback that could walk, and I'd probably put 60 on him. But anyway, see what happens. GK can bask in the glory for 15 minutes.
He loved it. I loved it, GK. You watched it. It's great.
Oh, convincing victory. It was never a doubt. Oh, we're terrible. We are absolutely cast, Queensland. Can't remember a worse team. Got to go back a long time till I've seen a Queensland team that really just is clearly outclassed. But somehow miracles happen.
What was the worst decision from Billy Slater in the last 48 hours? Mentioning Paul Green, God rest his soul, that was horrible. Or the two short kickouts when it's 80 mil of rain dropping and you're 20 in front. I thought they were two good decisions. But
we deserve to lose the game on both those things at all. But
where are you from? Aren't you from Albury?
I was born in Queensland, Nambour Hospital, one of the only survivors in the 80s. I had a lot of problems with childbirth through the Nambour Hospital, so it's lucky I'm here.
For who?
Huh?
For who?
No, for everyone.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, I just think Queensland have got a bit of cool Archie about them. Wet trackers.
Oh, my God.
And they might have just found the month's feed, the super feed.
Yeah, and hidden achievement up the inside, should have won by 8, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. I thought Providence went good. Tommy sort of sat 4 and 5 wide the entire, kept on whacking away, but there might be a bunch of whackers.
Called Da Vinci.
Da Vinci whacked away for you, GK. You become a place punter extraordinaire.
It was the second best run in the race, or equal to the second horse. They both went huge.
Yeah, I'm surprised you haven't got a poster up, GK.
Yeah, I'm going to have to send a message to Jaden Lloyd to thank him for those two placings over the last few weeks on Call Da Vinci. Both good results.
Timmy calls a cucumber on War Machine. Pulled the trigger.
Oh, nice. He probably pulled the pin early, but he probably could. I think I had half a crack at him for... Like, mate, trying to win a Stradbroke, taking off the 800. What do you think you are, hero? And he's like, I couldn't wait much longer. And he was always wanted to. He thought it'd run a mile strong, so obviously it's a 1,400 metre race. But that he wanted to put it, to make something go past him. So he had a plan, and I think halfway around he would have had a bit of a twinge in the strides. I think when he was on the back at Transatlantic and could go whenever he wanted to. And he had a good day. And the Brisbane Cup was over about a lap and a half out. He travelled the winner, and then Nash destroyed his day in the last when he looked like he won, and that was a huge run too. Wasn't it a big win, a big effort? What was it called? His I can't remember.
Which one?
Kovalika nutted him on the line.
Yeah.
A new endeavour or something.
Yeah, Pierre was an absolute beaut as well. He looks like a nice horse in the making.
Track record.
Yeah.
In a listed mile.
With the straight carved up to pieces. It's an interesting one. And speaking of carved, old Tommy couldn't really jump, need some luck. So might need a new rider instead of luck there. But I think he's welded onto the horse. And we had a bit of a debate on the golf course Tuesday, and you were convinced it was a mare.
I still think it might be, mate, because it just doesn't give up. It's just like my missus when she just never gives up in an argument or anything in life. So I'm convinced that maybe even if it was a gelding, I think it identifies as a mare, and I'm happy to run with it.
Could be our first trans horse, but that's a story for another day. GK, let's straighten the wheels up here. The good thing is I've just done the weather check. Clear all eastern states. So we've got clear weather in Randwick, Flemington and Ipswich. They've put a sprinkle of 8 mil of irrigation, despite all the dew up here at Ippy.
They put 8 mils on it?
Oh, for the week, yeah. Just to keep it in that soft range. But there's probably wind about. There's a fair bit of wind about today, and there'll be sun for the next couple of days. But what are you thinking with the track at Ipswich, GK?
Well, it's a 5 at the moment. I guess the question is just really how firm it will get. I think we're just going to have to really monitor track speeds through the day. Like, I'm thinking the starting point is probably just a typical winter good, kind of like a dead track with a little bit of give in it. But can firm up pretty quickly up here, like we saw with the Eagle Farm last week. It effectively became a road, and that has a pretty significant impact on which horses are advantaged or not. Given it's Ipswich, there's always luck and running involved in these races, which reduces my confidence a fair bit betting at this track. But I would say, just based on what we've seen here traditionally, that lanes 2 to 5 is probably where most of the winners are going to be, and I don't really want to be, further than 2 or 3 lengths off the leaders here, unless there's hot tempo, especially in these sprint races. Otherwise, it just becomes, a complete minefield.
Yeah, it'll be tricky betting again, but it feels like it's been tricky for the last sort of month or so. So trying to be flexible is the key here. Today we're going to do Ipswich race 5 and then the quad leg 6, 7, 8, 9. Randwick, you've got one early, race 3 for you, Walt. And then we're going to have a look at Ryken in race 8. And then number 9 is the Civic. At Flemington, I think I've got a black booker, so we'll quickly do that. But it's a pretty action-packed show, so we'll move relatively quickly. And the first one's race 5 at Ipswich, the Bundamba Plate, Class 6 over 1350. Same distance as the eyeliner, and Redford's come up favourite here, $3.90. Castilian $5, Cerati $7, Ocean Alps $8.50, Betcha the Crown $9, Deep Respect $11, and then Just Flying $13 and Better the Rest. Couple of horses that caught my eye last start that should fight this one out. I thought Redford sets up best, barrier 5, Kyle Wilson Taylor, and you can just see him on this wet day. He's had a bit of a he's got the aquas colours with the blue, and he's lumping 61 kilos here, and I thought it was just a really good effort, and he sort of just comes to the end of his run and sort of just knocks up, and Harbour Master sort of gets up on his inside and knocks him off, but he was in poorly at the weights and sort of needed that run. So I think with the weight drop back down to 57.5, and this Class 6 just sort of sets up perfectly for him. And he's a horse that knocked over Moravia in that strong Class 4 at the Sunshine Coast last preparation. There's always been something there with his horse, and I just think he was a forgive first up at the Gold Coast on that heavy deck. So I think he finally gets the right race, right barrier, right jockey, and conditions to suit here. So no surprise to see him sort of shorten from 480 into 390 in early burning. I think he's just the horse they all have to beat here. And Sir Artie's the other one that I think is absolutely flying. This is in the red behind the Inflictor and not really getting clear air there with the red and the red cap. There's a couple of horses in red, but just really like the way he sort of gets through his gears, picks himself back up after that bit of traffic, and I thought he just really savages the line, but Jag jumps on and he's got barrier 17, so he's going to have to probably ride him for luck again, but I think this horse is completely airborne, so I think they'll be the two that fight out race 5, and it took me a while to sort of warm up into this meeting because, there wasn't much quality for the first 4 races. What do you think about those two horses in that race in particularly, GK? I know you don't love the event, but do you think I'm on the money?
Yeah, I think they're probably where I would head in this race as well. I guess it's worth mentioning Castilian, who has been going really well. Like Golan has got this horse going. I guess the thing is that Castilian will probably likely want there to be some more sting out of the track. So, by this stage, if we see that the track is very firm, that's a signal to really attack Castilian. I think Redford has been going really well, just sneakily well. And I think, maybe some will probably overlook it based on those 2 runs this prep, where it just really hasn't had much luck at all. I really liked that run of Cerati first up. It was in the right part of the track, but I love the way it finished off. There's not a lot of speed in this race. So, I guess if I was providing advice to Annabelle, I would say go forward. Take this up, go and try to sit in the first few pairs. I remember last prep, there was a time where this thing drew wide at Randwick and they went forward on it. Like, I would actually tell them to, be positive because I think it's going to be hard from the back.
All right, so it's a good way to play the race 5 there, Redford, the map horse, and then interesting to see how they steer Sir Artie. Have you done that race?
My experience with Annabelle is that when you want them to go forward, it'll be last. It's the best horse by 100 miles, Sir Artie, and it's just gate 17. Betcha the Crown back on a dry track is the improver. Sir Artie will win if it gets a decent steer, but yeah, it's definitely tough, isn't it, around there, 17 gate.
All right, let's have a look at race 6. This is the first of the quaddie leg. It's the Schweppes TL Cooney. This is a horse that Tommy Henjack's been talking about for quite some time, and I think it's come up a pretty moderate event here. Stay Focused is a favourite, $3.20. Master Bianco is $5. $7.50 Tune. Super Alloy, $12. The 300, $12. Hella Fast, $13. Letitia is $13. Parada's Gem, $16. Bollinger Miss, $21. And then I'm Heroic, $23. And much, much better than the rest. Can have a look at the Fred Best as the only replay. We could hunt wide, but you thought there was maybe 2 forgive runs in here, GK, or 2 decent runs.
Yeah, definitely. I just thought Stay Focused and Tuned are just the obvious ones to come out of this race. Like Stay Focused did a heap of work. Just completely forgive there. Yeah. Tuned obviously got the right run in this race, and was right there. I think they're the 2. I think at present, Mr. Bianco's under the odds. I'd have Tune second favourite personally, just with the way this race sets up. I think Stay Focused is probably short enough. Like I do think it's the best horse in the race, but on my map, I think it's going to have to do some work to cross. I don't think they're just going to let it, get across here easily to the rail. So it's going to have to work. Does that potentially make it vulnerable late? I think it potentially does. Who's going to be Johnny on the spot? Well, that could be Tuned. Mr. Bianco, maybe they're more positive here. I don't know. That's an interesting question. Not sure whether I'm going to bet in the race yet, but if I was, at the moment, I'm thinking Stay Focus deserves to be favourite and Tune main danger.
I know a fair few of these horses well, and I just don't like the way they mix their form. So I was hoping other horses would pay up and nominate for this. So I don't think I'll be betting in this race at all. But is there a different angle you can find here, Walt, or not keen at all?
No, Stay Focused shouldn't be worried about what's going to kick up under it. Should just go straight to the front. They should just take control of the race, to be honest. I would say it's just got, 2 well weighted and there's no other choice. So if he's got to go too quick the first 400, so be it. But he's a bit like Just Party, isn't he? Like, he definitely had excuses there the other day, but didn't quite do enough to be super confident that he's going to show up here in peak form. So, if he's in peak form, he probably gets away with it. The 300's the other, well, I think it's clearly the second best horse in the race, but a nightmare as well. Draws middle. Sir Reginald, he's a bit enigmatic as well, right? So, yeah, if he shows up in his best form, he's the only danger really. If they show up in their best form, both of them, Stay Focused and the 300, they're the only 2 chances I think on paper. Yeah, well, at least you're getting $12 about it. And Gay's horse is definitely going extremely well. So, and I don't think improving track would hurt its chances either. So, yeah, I'm a bit the same. I don't want to unleash the fury on Stay Focused because there are a few question marks there, but definitely the horse to beat, and the 300 looks the value.
I'd rather be taking Reggie around the sort of the $12 mark than Reggie hard in the market, and we'll probably discuss more of that a little bit later in the card. But I'm fascinated and a little bit excited that Walt sort of found that horse. I was hoping he'd give it a bit of a push, so it may tempt me into a tiny little tickle on the 300 at the price, but still scary. It's every time that you leg Reggie up, there's a big element of fear. Just never know what's going to happen.
What about him on that horse Aerodrome last week? What was he looking around on? He's looking around at the 400 or something like he was going to win by 8, and then he just went straight. Cool Archie just said, ta-da. Went pretty good. It was one of the weirdest things I've ever seen in a Group 1 race. Keep your head down, Reggie. Blinkers on, son.
Ipswich Race 7, it's the Cup, 2150. It's a listed event, and it's a pretty lackluster Cup, I would have thought. It looks like there's the stays have just fallen away, and it's probably in line with the Q22, which was a little bit soft as well. Obviously, with Kovalika winning it, it's probably proof in point, but Miss Jolene's a favourite here with 60 kilos. And $5.50 for her. Osmos is $6. Diablo Bolt $6.50. Brookhaven $9. Poetic Drama $9.50. You got Warp Speed $10. Felix the Scat is $11. Akatiri is $11, and you got Raff Attack $13. Red Wave $16. Dark Destroyer $23, and Better the Rest. Phillipsburg rounds out the betting. There's 2 form lines we're going to have a look at. There's a benchmark 90 at the Sunshine Coast, and this is Felix the Scat beating Diablo Bolt and Rafa Tack here. Rafa Tack on the inside in the blue, Felix the Scat in the pink, and then Diablo Bolt
Terrible ride on Diablo Bolt.
In the red.
Completely missed the boat.
GK, you can talk to this, and then we've got the Poetic Drama and Miss Jolene race to follow.
I was on Diablo Bolt at the Sunshine Coast, so was absolutely spewing with the ride. Just allowed Duplessis to get around it and box it in. It was a 0 out of 10, that ride. And look, Felix the Scat is a talented galloper, and once it gets going, it can really go on with it. So it's definitely one that I'm interested in this race. But I think Diablo Bolt should have won that race. So look, I think both of those for me, they have to go in the quaddie. And then it's just what you make of the other form line coming through the Eagle Farm races. So, for me personally, Miss Jolene had no luck last start, just went back. You can see it here. It's like back last and finishes the race off well once CJ gets across heels to the outside. Another one you can sort of spot with the lime green cap going through the middle is Poetic Drama. Just has no luck. At around the 100-meter mark as well. I think it's going sneakily well also. So, look, all those 4 are in my quaddie. I haven't really decided how I'm going to play the race just yet, but that's the main 4 that I'm focused on at the moment. Like, I'd probably put Osmos in the quaddie as well, but just sort of want to see how the track plays and how firm it is before I work out which way I sort of get involved here.
Yeah, these staying races are obviously usually my cup of tea, and Poetic Drama is the only horse that I could probably back here. I thought it should be probably half the price, 53.5 kilos. The big scary thing for me is it's a Poissy out of Sebring mare. So in breeding, this is absolute out of limit, and it says no, that shouldn't do this. But the way it sort of hits the line over these 1,600-metre races, and especially right now at this time of its career, I think if she's ever going to run the 2150, it's against this lot down at 53.5 kilos, because none of these are much good, and she had more to give the other day, and I think Ange should be positive with her at this occasion and doesn't have to drag her right back, so she can get a spot from barrier 11. She's the way I want to play. 950 looks crazy odds. I can see her, starting much shorter, sort of $5.50, $6, but again, it's one of those tricky raffles.
I've got some good notes here. I introduced Nick on Tuesday to a bloke on YouTube, Drain Cleaning Australia. He's the most positive man I've ever seen, and he often will be saying things like, "This is what dreams are made of." Not to everyone, dreams are different, and this is what dreams are made of. Where would you rather be? And usually he's unblocking something like a grease trap or a block dunny. And
where are we going?
I'd say this is the racing equivalent of a grease trap or a block dunny, and I'd probably be leaving this one for someone else. But, I pretty much agree with exactly what GK said. The 2 horses, Diablo Bolt and Felix the Scatter, the 2 horses out of there, they've got to go in. Poetic Drama, Miss Jolene's got to go in. She'll probably get slaughtered again for the 37th time in her career. Whether the others, there's a few there. Osmos run 2150. It's going to get the right run. It's just a bit of a nightmare race. But, good luck unblocking this grease trap if you're playing.
Might have to ring or email Kelly Schweider and tell him about his jockey selection. Might have to follow up on my email from 10 years ago because he just keeps putting
I think
CJ
you're better
on.
off sending him a link to Drain Cleaning Australia, mate. Just telling him. Holy cow. Unblock the drain. Well, that was just a barrier trial for it last start, Miss Joel. Like, it's a complete waste of time going around. I don't know what was going on there, but this is a suitable race for her, but she'll probably get a similar ride.
That's, I think, we prefaced at the start of this Brisvegas series that her grand final is meant to be the Q22. So this is obviously a much bigger step down. So she might have the class to reel them in, but it'll be fascinating to see the steer that it gets.
So important to get good rides here. So you've got to have that momentum and speed up, come to the bend. Otherwise, you slingshot too late and the game's over. So it's it's very much horses for courses have to be well ridden track. Yeah,
I think Sears camp, Tony and Matty Sears won the race last year, and it was pretty much an act of God luck win. The name of the horse was it Red Wave or what was the horse?
Yeah, it was Red Wave.
Yeah, and that was when it was just a severely biased track as well. It had a sort of birthday, so despite being a 21.50 race, you still need a bit of luck, and that's how Ipswich sort of plays, as GK sort of alluded to. Let's have a look at race 8. It's the Barrier Reef Pools, the Eyeliner Stakes over 13.50, and Warney's coming to town. Kieran's finally scratched Warney from the Civic Stakes in Sydney, which could be a head scratcher, but he's obviously thinking it's going to set up well here. He's put Regan on.
You've depressed me already. That was the...
Well,
oh, my God.
Reggie's on from Barrier 3.
In Sydney.
$2.80, Metal Art $8, Zadaki $8.50, Rock Ribbed $11, Orton $12. Devastate's an interesting one. Right Distance first up $13. Tony Golan, who's still going pretty well. Harbour Master $13, Fortunate Kiss $14, and you got Swiss Exile $17. Astero $20. Lost in Transit $23. Boom Talk, Bank More, and the rest of them are well out the gate here. A couple of key lead-ups here are Warney. Very hard to miss this one. Bennett Racing colours in the orange. You got Front Page and Hidden Wealth up the front. And Orton's also getting through there in the green with the white sleeves and the white blinkers. So hard to knock Warney, and he's probably the obvious horse probably for the weekend that most people are going to couple up. But where does he get?
What about the Front Page was gone at the 600 and it still won? Is that a reason to knock Warney, or that the leaders were in reverse from the bend and Warney was not actually steaming when it looked like it was steaming? It was more steaming in like John Walter from the southern end, not Glenn McGrath. Is that a problem? Anyway,
it could be.
I'll just throw that out there.
Yeah, he 1200 was all he sort of wanted Front Page, but geez, I thought he still did everything he could in the Australia, the poor bugger, and he just cacked his dacks at the 1200. Poor old Front Page. So yeah, there's that. But then I guess the colliding form line GK that you're sort of kicking up for is if Rock Rib gets full control like it did on the day it had at the Gold Coast. Mind you, he found the right place to be, but the horse that we've mentioned chasing it down needs some luck, and the other mare, Infancy,
yeah, mare,
definitely a mare. But
it's a mare's race, right?
Yeah, Rock Rib did well here to hold them all off. Still gave a good kick, and it could be a similar scenario, you think, GK?
Yeah, look, possibly. Look, I don't really read too much into this race at the Gold Coast. I don't really take Gold Coast form seriously at all. I just think, in general, this horse is flying, and it's just going to get complete control. From where it's drawn, it's going to lead, and if it's rails on fire or it's up and in, boy, this horse is going to be hard to beat. Ipswich is definitely a horses for courses type track, and this horse has a good record, this sort of track and distance as well. So look, I think Rock Ribbed is a great each way bet, and I think it's going to be super hard to beat. I've already taken a price of Rock Ribbed. I've also had something on Zadaki as well, which I thought at double figures yesterday afternoon was ridiculous as well. Warney is definitely the best horse in the race. It's just Barrier 3 at Ipswich. Where do we get to here? And what price do we take to factor in those risks? Is 2-1 enough? I don't think so. I think I want better than 2-1. I think maybe I want 5-2, 3-1. It's probably a little bit more comfy, and I think you could build a nice book with Warney, Rock Ribbed, and Zadaki if you get 5-2 Warney and double figures or close to it with the others.
Yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised if say sort of 350, and if we're very lucky, sort of like a War Machine to sort of style drift last time, everyone's sort of betting around him. Maybe you get $4 Warney, but question for you, Walt, we haven't spoken about it much, but where's Zadaki at in life?
I think it's going like a busted crap. I love the horse with a passion. I thought his first up run was all right, but I thought he went like a hurdler the other day, and he's had a little break. I just didn't. I don't think he's come up. Like I think he'd win this race if he was right. I just don't know if he's right. And yeah, I don't know. 10-1, I guess, is still fair because if he does bounce back, he'll go close. But I'm not sure that he's alive.
Yeah, I thought outside the obvious Warney, I thought Orton was the way to play. Looks like he could be just this is his grand final with a few others. Maybe just a little bit of an afterthought. So I sort of like that scenario, and I think he's run really well here in the past at Ipswich and is drawn to get the right sort of run. $12, probably each way is a small bet that I could have. But yeah, respecting GK's line of thought there with Rock Rib, if they leave him alone and they're asleep, which jockeys can do. They do it all the time. I think the boys have sort of mentioned the chances here. Metal Art's obviously going super, but barrier 16 could be problematic against these.
It's dangerous. Warning could not get out till Tuesday. That's the problem because of what GK said. If Rock Grip controls and it's slow run, there's a 3 and 4 wide line, where's he going to be? He's just going to be in a nightmare. So, I can't understand why you'd scratch this horse from Randwick to run it at Ipswich from an inside draw, but it is a much softer race. There's no doubt about that. But, it's a horse you'd want to be taking on. It's just tough. I think Rock Grip, definitely the value. Bankmore, my favourite horse in the world, is doing enough at $34 to, if you got the old, if the Bevan Laming super improvement horse one day, it's just one of those horses that you could see sitting outside leader and just keep on trucking him, so I think $34 is silly for him.
Knockout.
He's a bit of a sucker. I'm a sucker for him, so maybe water my opinion down a little bit on him, but I just think $34 is a silly price, and I don't like the race. There's not an obvious horse that I can find to be confident against Warney. I want to take him on around this track from that low draw, and I think GK's on the mark. Rock Grib's the one.
Yeah, GK and I here spoke sort of off air about this, and it's just a real bit of a real head scratcher. A horse like Warney, how's he found himself at Gosford and Ipswich in the same preparation, given the style of horse he is?
Yeah, and even the other day.
Yeah, it is just mind blowing. But here we are. We're Twitter and YouTube trainers, so what would we know? Race 9.
Everything.
Hey?
Everything. We know everything. Just ask us.
Ipswich Race 9. It's the Gordon's Gin Gay Waterhouse Classic. It's a listed 1,200
Can't
fillies
wait for
and mares
GK's
race.
instructions on how to ride this one. This is going to be a good one.
I think she deserves a better race than an Ipswich listed race. Or she needs...
Gay does, yeah. So does Gerringong, but Jesus.
She should always keep this one, but she should get more.
I don't think she's really a Gordon's Gin girl either, just quietly gay, but you never know.
We might get her to replace the Russell Balding Stakes, I reckon. I'd rather gay than Russell.
I don't think so. Not considering, recent occurrences.
Let's have a look at the market. Gerringong is $2.80 favourite. Kazu $7.50. Kin $8. Navy on the Highway $9.50. Bubba's Bay $13. Midnight Tokyo $13. So Flick $13. Memoria $19. Hermanita $20. Terramata $21. Count Your Blessings $21. And Heroic Miss, Sunset Dreaming, Realm Angels, Lady Shotgun round out the market. Well, I'm going to look at the replay of the Queensland Day Stakes, and this is Cosmic Fire winning. You got Super Alloy, which is not here, but Gerringong's in the Jerry Harvey colours with the blue with the white cross, and sort of struggling, sort of laid in a bit, and she really descends when she gets going, and she just needs to be put in the race.
All the troubles at the start, and she either got squeezed out or missed it, didn't she? So she gave up a huge start. Tim actually rode it very well from where it ended up to get a crack at them late and not have to circle them, but it was a disaster at the start.
Yeah, and then Barrier 14, Reginald, $2.80, could have the same scenario again, and Kazu is the other replay we're going to have a look at here. Ridden pretty cold. It's the Waller Purple with the racing checks on the widest. You got In Flight is the winner of the race with the Private Eye colours, and you got Broodnell in the orange. Yeah. So the form all sort of ties in around Kin, and the question is, she had about 6 or 7 trials spaced over a couple of preparations, but if that was a pipe opener for this, and they're just trying to tick off the black type.
No, the horses it's 6 or 7 versions of the horse. It's a dead set, very good horse when does everything right. It's unstoppable nearly. But it's just which one you get on the day.
Well, it's got Kyle Wilson-Taylor, it's got Barrier 8, and it might be just the map horse. GK?
Yeah, look, I think my concern with Kazu is just if the track is too firm. I do think, obviously, if you look at its record, it likes some sting out of the track, but they're just going to go forward here. And, there is tempo in this race. There's horses like Navy on the Highway and others, but it can just be right there. And can Gerringong give Kazu, I don't know, 3, 4, maybe 5 lengths and run it down? I think that's debatable. And at the current prices, I'm happy to have a ticket each way on Kazu. And look, Gerringong's obvious. It was a great run. Got a lot of time for this thing, but don't like this race shape for it and this track either necessarily. It's a little bit like Warney for me, that I think it's a bit sticky and it could be pretty smelly, where, it could just loom and then run up the backside of something, and, we could see that happen over and over again at Ipswich. So it's a bit smelly for me, this price at this track.
Yeah, it was interesting watching the betting markets populate for some operators. They went up sort of $2.20 Gerringong, and if you were quick, you could get $14 Kazoo. I saw me and GK sort of chimed in around $10 and $11 speaking off air this morning, but now banged into sort of $7.50. Walt, have you got a different angle? The other horse that sort of I liked prior to its last start was Count Your Blessings, and there's a horse later on in the show. We see it got wind burned, I think, behind I Know a Star in a trial, but Count Your Blessings at sort of 20-1. Is it good enough? And
it's
up
one
against
of my
these?
horses too, and I think it hasn't come up either. I think it's a darky-ish at the moment. I remember it was coming up here. It was absolutely airborne. It was towing itself through the line in its trials. I think it won really well first up at Canterbury or something like that. And then this time in
Gonski?
Yeah. I think we've dropped off Terramata a little bit quick. I thought it presented to win the race the other day and just absolutely knocked up. And that was sort of 1,200 first up on whatever. It raced up forward. It sort of jumped really well, used up early, presented to win the race, and then got beat 6. But most of it was late in the race where it lost ground rapidly, like it just punctured. So, gate 4, it's going to posse up really naturally here. It's 20-1 again. And it's got form around Kazoo, actually. It's beaten at home narrowly previously. So I think those two tie in really well, and you're going to get 20-1 Terramata again. So, I think Kazoo, Terramata are definitely the value. Memoria's going okay. Bubba's Bay, those sort of horses are going to be thereabouts. So, really consistent, honest horses that are set up to do their best. So I think there'll be 4 or 5 across the track here late. If Gerringong gets all the breaks and Reggie pulls one out of the hat, it'll probably win, but I don't want to take $2.80 either around here. It's a sort of, if in-play betting was a thing in Australia, it's a perfect race because, Gerringong could be outside the leader and $1.50 chance after 400 metres, or Kazoo could be. So, it's definitely
Best ride wins.
What's that?
Best ride wins.
Well, they're
luck.
tricky horses too, so it's not as even the rider and the gates. They're horses that sometimes begin, sometimes don't. It's a really difficult one to be trying to predict pre-race. So usually those races you want to find value, which is in Kazoo and Terramata. It's not in Gerringong, but if Gerringong sort of lands 1 out 2 back after 400 metres, you'd probably be happy to take 6-4 all day long. So. Yeah, it's a good race. It's just a tricky one.
Oh, well, sounds like Walt's going to have a quaddie if he can figure out the Grease Trap Cup.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's where you can go 4x4x4x4x4.
You could even go a little bit now. You could definitely play a few different options. This is much more gettable than a couple of the races that have been tricky. Imagine if Kovalika knocked you out of the quaddie last week. Wouldn't you be sick as a dog if it was the one that knocked you out after... What was it? It hadn't won since 2023 Derby or something like that. He's sucky loomer and he gets you in the maddest head bob of all time.
Rewind. He wins the Q22. Oh, it's just perfect Melbourne Cup prep.
Oh, yeah, wow. It's just so crazy how weak everything's becoming, but you can't laugh these things off anymore. Even like they're saying Campbell-Dino, mate, it won an Orange Cup 3 or 4 starts ago, and dead set Winona gave it a 12 out of 10 to do so. And we're heading to the Melbourne Cup, and it's probably $12 or something. I haven't even checked the betting, but
Steffi Magnetica went through all the bush.
Different sort of horse, different sort of. Whatever. It's scary. It's scary.
It is
scary times. And the thing that won the Stradbroke. Oh well, it'll be in the Everest, won't it?
War Machine.
Okay, yeah, War Machine. You just got Yellow Bricks hasn't won since I won, and it's chasing it home, and they're talking Everest.
Well, they're talking Epsom for Yellow Brick. Holy heck.
Oh, God.
Well, GK and I were talking about that off
the Newmarket on the way there, probably. I'd probably go through the Newmarket down the straight.
The Australian racing.
Rockhampton Newmarket.
Yeah, well, that's it. You've got to be careful, haven't you? You want to leave yourself open with plenty of maybe the Quokka.
We're doing
Quokka
something
2027. Maybe, Epsom Quokka.
Yeah. I've got Gill over in Ascot. And we're here doing Ipswich.
Got Gill over in Ascot on the tab while we can't bet on 4 of the races there because they've got more than 24 runners and they don't show the vision. where it's the pinnacle of racing, but we can't bet on it. So, everything makes a lot of sense here. A lot of logic that, 25 years to update your website, but no, at the moment, you can't even log in. So, we're going well.
What a world. Another world that you can find is GK's Discord channel.
We've got you absolutely buried today. I love it.
At Brizzy Form Guide. It's a late night Origin, and I'm toast. At Brizzy Form Guide on Twitter, and then you can jump into GK's Discord channel. I finally got it out. So if you want all things Brisbane racing, he'll be there. So we've got the Tatsiara next week, and then we've got Sunshine Coast Cup, and then he'll be probably holidaying, and that'll be the end of the carnival, but he's always looking at the Brisbane races. So if you want to check that out, make sure you hit him up on Twitter and slide into his DMs. Well, let's talk Sydney. It's drying conditions, which is good news.
You're kidding, aren't you?
Hey?
Drying.
No, it's good. It's sunny and
the track's all right.
Yeah, it's really good. Let's go have a look at one of your first best bets. Race 3, it's the Quay Clean Benchmark 72, 1300. And the horse that you like is Brave One. It's the favourite. It's $4.40. Lunate is $5. Secure, $7.50. Get a Fix, $8.50. Sakima, $10. Bengal is $14. And Maori Chief, $15. Let's have a look at its last start replay with Kerguelen in the Godolphin Blue knocking it off, and it's just run second here in the Rupert colours.
Probably went too slow just here. He just got really keen in the run. I thought Brave One sat outside leader, and he's obviously a decent horse, Kerguelen. They went quite slow, so, whilst it might look suited that Brave One was up outside leader, I thought they probably went too slow, and as you can see that he wasn't weak in the winner, sort of pretty good, unstoppable scratch at the gate, so there's no real test of that form, but I think the first two across the line there are pretty talented horses. Yep.
$4.40 now. What price you bet down to?
Well, you got the draws tricky, and our man Dildo's on. It's again one of these races where the first 400 metres is going to be really important. If it slots in or lands outside leader, I'd be happy to take sort of 2 to 1. So where do you land? What sort of price you want, and what sort of price it's going to get to? I couldn't see it drifting too much just because it's a little bit obvious. Get a Fix is a horse that's got many faces, very hard to catch horse at a trial in between. Secure's been beating up pretty average horses but gets a nice run. Bengal won was it a midway or a highway last start. Maori Chief fell off a cliff last start. Smashing Time's been going like a busted, pretty powerful, interesting horse, but first up. Sakima was very average trial. Then they bashed it in a trial last start. It sort of led one. Some of this by default, you just keep coming back to this horse as the only horse that's got serious upside, I think. So, yeah, I think 450 is very fair. I'd sort of think 350 is probably where I'll price it. So anything around that price, I think is pretty fair. The track should be fine. So even if he settles off speed, I'd expect him to run well. He's a pretty versatile horse, and I don't think it's going to be firm enough that sort of takes him out of play because all his form is on wet track so far, but he hasn't seen much other than a wet track. So they also sort of missed it. There's that Lunate, which is Paulie Snowden's glamour horse at the moment. He doesn't have too many horses in work, but it's been working through the grades, sort of heading towards country championships next year, I think, too. So it's a stern test for him, I'd say, even though he'll be up on speed and booting along. If he puts these horses away, I think it's a big jump in class. So I'd rather with Brave One at a similar price.
Beautiful. Take the 440. Might start 350, and Dildo's riding good at the moment. Let's head
confidence.
Yeah,
wind in his sails.
I didn't give GK any headway for that one, so we'll talk to him about the next race. That's Randwick Race 8. It's the Traffic Warden at Darley. So Traffic Warden's off to stud there. Beautiful. Benchmark 78. Reikenen's a favourite.
Traffic Wardens at stud. My God.
$3.30. Little Contro $5.50. O Diamond Lil $8. It's a Knockout $10. Fiddler's Green, $12. And then you got Captain Amelia, $14. $15 Woolawin, Bat Out of Hell, $16. We all saw Raikkonen just earlier with that sort of 3 wide entire. Great run in the Fred Best. Really unlucky not to get the strad broken. The question is here, 61 kilos, benchmark 78. Is he better than him? And I put this replay in because this is a benchmark 78. It's at Gosford, and he just sort of trucked into it and just steamed to the line, and looks like a serious horse. Feels like we've been speaking a lot about this horse, but is there anything that can beat him that you can find, Walt, in this race?
Yeah, I would have backed him to win the Stradbroke, so I'm pretty happy to back him to beat these horses. I don't think 63 is a big, strong bugger. He's not a horse that...
We'll claim it 2 with Anaropa.
61, yeah. And the draw, there's quite a bit of speed. If it was Rose Hill, I'd be a little bit scared, but it doesn't seem like a horse that's one-dimensional. He looks like he just builds through his revs and gets to his top and keeps coming. So, there's nothing here that looks too scary that's going to be dangerous, if that even makes sense. It's weird. There's quite a bit of speedo, Diamond Lil, and will push forward. I'd say that sort of takes any sort of sit sprint worries out of the game, which could hurt him if he doesn't get up on speed. Yeah, I don't think there's too much to worry about here. Obviously don't want to be 4 or 5 wide, no cover if you can avoid it. But any luck at all, I think Raikkonen's just too big, too strong for these horses. He's just on his way to better things, and the weights are quite bunched anyway. There's
for the
quite
major chances.
Yeah, like 61 with a big gap behind would be scary, but not. Captain Amelia's the horse that I thought was dangerous, similar to Count Your Blessings. Has just been sort of watching this horse and expecting it to do something. I think it's the one horse that's desperate for firmer. So, the ratings they put up are completely irrelevant at the moment. But if it is on the firmer side or somewhere near what they've got up at the moment, sort of if it gets to a 5 or something, Captain Amelia is definitely going around to win it for me. I think it's sort of $12, $13. But yeah, I thought they were the clear 2 on upside, and
King Martell with Bullock for Big Bad Bryce.
He's had like 27 trials in there as well. I don't know what the story with King Rattel's doing. He's obviously, Bryce is tricky because he does set his horses. He does usually have a plan with them, and they can sort of improve. And for whatever reason, the market tends to underrate his runners as well. So I had a good look at King Rattel. It is a dangerous horse when it's in the right frame of mind, and this race does suit it. Sort of second up, looks like it's had a bit more work than normal, so should be relatively ready to go now, and does have a turn of foot when things go his way. So I'm not going to talk anyone out of having something like King Rattel.
GK, can you find anything, or have you got as far as this race?
I have looked at this race. I haven't gone as deep as I want to go, but I think this is a perfect betting opportunity for Raikkonen, because there's going to be counter narratives based on weight and barrier and map and all this. It's just better than them. Like, this horse is a star. It's guaranteed a group horse. That run in the Fred Best for me was probably the run of the entire carnival.
Sorry, just checking one of my notes here. Run of the carnival.
Have you swapped notes? Have you guys swapped notes?
Obviously, I backed it 100 to 1 at the Stradbroke. I had multis going, everything. I think this horse has got serious ability, and I just love the way that this race sets up, where there'll be people who make all of these narratives about it. It's just
good point.
It's just such a strong, big,
beast,
galloper. Yeah. So, look, I just think this is a great race to bet in, because you're going to have that resistance from various sources in the market, and I think 5-2 is perfect. Very happy to take 5-2. I'm piling in.
Yeah, the only solace in a horse like Raikkonen and not getting to the Straddy at the 100 to 1 is all the bookies that parceled you and didn't let you on for more at the hundreds.
Why are you looking at me? Look at GK.
Yeah, well, that's
300 to 1.
Yeah, the old doubles and all that sort of stuff. Isn't it great?
They all let me on hidden achievement. They're not looking at me.
So a good way to last leg multi. If you're a multiplayer, maybe try and steam a heap of cash into Raikkonen, and there's a massive push confidence from all three of us there. So great to see. Randwick Race 9 is the next one. It's the Civic Stakes, and this is a horse that we thought Warney should probably head to, or the track would suit him. Nice big roomy Randwick on a drying deck could be a better opportunity for him. But Headley Grange is absolutely airborne. $4.20 into $3, an aggressive early move. I can't believe that. But
scratching.
Oh, of course. Yeah, sorry. But still, it's still a very short price now, despite the horse going like a rocket first up. And I was interested to hear Joe Pride after the race said he's come back bigger and better, because this is a horse I think improves into his preparation. Second and third up, this horse just keeps getting better and better and better. So he's put the writing on the wall first up, and he's $3. Raikkonen $7 likely to come out, given that he's an emergency. Well down in the pecking order. Bases loaded $9.50. Cool Jakey $9.50. Anoa Star $10. Grabini $11. Waladao is $12. Windchat $13. Green Shadows is in the mix at $13. $14. Green Fly $15. Wellwall $17. Fearson $23. Estadio Mistella $31. Mighty Ulysses $41. And Chrysaor $41. can get better the rest. And let's have a look at some of the replays. We've seen Warney already, so I won't play that one. He's scratched anyway. So then you've got Headley Grange here in the orange. I think Hippo rode at this day, and he's sort of swinging off them and can't get around. And then once he gets the gap, he just goes like an absolute rocket. And of the horses here, Estadio Mistella down the outside in...
Number 1, Saddlecloth, right down
the one Saddlecloth. It's the only horse that meets him better at the weights here, having gotten beaten by it. So I think Estadio Mistella gets half a kilo off, but everything else is in poorly. So he sets up really well from a weights perspective, Headley Grange, against anything that he beat there first up. And trying to look for dangers to beat it, you got I Know a Star bouncing back off that flat Brisbane run. And this trial went like a scalded cat here. And Count Your Blessings is back on the fence with this little star on its head.
Way back inside the
stripes. And it's sort of under the whip, sort of goes to the line second, but it was in sort of a world of its own. And trying to sift through the market for horses to beat Headley Grange, you've got Walado, I thought Wellwall. Those two horses are going pretty good, and they were the best knockout roughies I could find.
Yeah, I thought Grabini should nearly be favourite. Coming off heavy track runs is just not its go. And the other day it was home, and I'm having a mental blank. Who beat
Lock
it?
Eagle.
Lock Eagle,
my
which is
wet
just a mad heavy 10 horse.
Yeah.
Got over it late. So yeah, but if this is a drying surface, drawn absolutely perfect. I couldn't believe this horse was 20-1, and that was with your 3-humper Warney in the race. I'm absolutely sick hit scratch because there's 20% out the window, but. And it gets Raikkonen back closer to getting a run, which is sick too, because they might run it in this race instead of the other race, which should GK be in the corner in the fetal like I was on an hour yesterday. Back to this race. I think Headley Grange is similar to again another mental blank. Who won the Stradbroke?
War Machine.
War Machine.
It shapes up like a sort of War Machine horse. Right place, right time, right setup, right draw, everything going for it. Very hard to beat. Just looks like it's a push button. Sort of loses Hippo, but Collett suits these sorts of horses. I think he might have been on his back before too. I know Jay's had a few cracks on him, but draws to just settle wherever they land. There's quite, if Windchat jumps, they'll go quick. If not, they're sort of fierce, and there's heaps of speed in this race. I Know a Star. There's a heap of speed. So it's going to be run at a solid tempo, which should bring the best out in the race, and that suits Headley Grange. Sort of sets the timing with the weights. It's just on the way up still. I always loved this horse, but I agree. Look, that was a win that he wouldn't have had in him sort of a couple of preps ago, where he stopped on his head, didn't have the race sense to sort of cut back and then let down. And I think this is definitely a harder race, obviously, but certainly well up to it. And just Grabini's just a silly price. And we've chased Well a little bit. It's just been given 2 barrier trials. It's the other one that could improve and definitely goes around a winner, especially with the increased speed in this race. Had a good look at bases loaded. It's off a long spell, gelded, typical Waterhouse horse that could run well first up, and she's going extra well. But just didn't see enough from him in the trials to be confident, especially in what's going to be a fast run race. So Headley Grange is the horse to beat. Grabini is the value, and Well is the knockout for me.
I agree with all of that, thank God. GK.
Yeah, look, the 3 I've found are all on speed, which kind of scares me a little bit because I think they might cut each other up. Obviously, respect Headley Grange, but that's short enough for me right now. The 3 I probably went looking for and found was Walado. I just like that BRC sprint form. It's just stacking up time and time again. Was drawn wide, was hard to make ground down there. I think that was a fantastic run by Walado there. I Know a Star was in that race. I can't really remember what went wrong, but I'd be prepared to give it another chance. And I mean, I don't know what happened with Windchat and the barriers the other day, but if you just look at SPs there, what was it, $3.50 or something in that race? Look, I think it's worth probably giving it another chance. Obviously, they're all going to be right there, so I'm sort of scared that they will cut each other up, but at double figures for each of them, I could have something small on them, and then I'd probably just put Headley Grange in the quaddie personally.
All right, so a fair bit of confidence with the Civic Stakes, and Raikkonen and maybe get a backdoor, but he still needs a couple to come out, so unlikely at this stage, but Yeah, that'd throw our other race upside
Yeah,
down,
change
and
this
it'd
race
just ruin the show.
considerably too. So yeah, it would maybe stand by for an update if it gets in the race, because obviously 3 or 4 runners have to be out of it, which would change the race, and Raikkonen would go in. So yeah, it would completely change the race if it got to start.
If you want more of that action, head to racingwatch.com.au, 24/7 of New South Wales racing. So Walt does it all the time, and he's got a really good Discord channel, and he's got Telegram as well. So if you don't want to talk to anyone else, you can have the Telegram. But if you want to talk to other people, talk about the Origin, talk about this, talk about that.
Clearing grease traps, we do it every day. Benchmark 58, so we sort of call them now grease traps.
You got to try it, racingwatch.com.au. It is a great little service. So make sure you get around the boys if you want to turn over more money, and that's what the industry needs, lots of turnover. So let's do that. Flemington, race number 8, I'm going to have a look at. It's the rail 11, sunny, no wind. So it's actually a really solid card. I haven't got through all of Flemington yet, but I'll have to bug Trevor Lawson for a couple of his tips as well. But it shapes up as a real deep meeting at Flemington, which is great. And then with no wind and drying track, it should just be absolute classic Flemington of old, which is good. Let's have a look at the market here, and it's an interesting one with the favourite being Jimmy the Bear, $5, $6.50 Verdad, Holy Man $7, El Soliado $9.50 into 7, Regal Zeus $8, St Lawrence $9 pounding at 11, Casino 17, 16, Prince of Alina 17, and you got Dashing 20s, Relentless Voyager 23, Magna Spin 23, and the rest of them well out the gate. The horse I like here is the market mover. It's $9.50 into $7. I think it should be around $4 or $5. But I thought this is a massive run first up from El Soliado. I'm not sort of ignoring his SP because all his form's sort of at the mile. But Marble Knight's the winner of this race, but he's just not a 1,200 metre horse. So Robbie Lang, the late Robbie Lang, his horse is absolutely airborne here, and I just can't believe he had the sort of temerity to steal DK, and I'm sort of stealing DK's horse as well, El Soliado, because he carried 61 there first up, and he was still sort of attacking the line. 1,600 metres, gets the big weight drop, so he goes 61 back to 55.5, and a few of these horses he's faced before, and he meets them all better at the weights. If he was third up to 1,600, I would be shipping this horse, but the problem would be we'd probably be getting sort of $2.50 or $3 if he had one more run under his belt. But I've just got a couple of convictions about some of these horses, like Jimmy the Bear. I think they backed him up and he sort of raced flat. Verdad, Holy Man's, Regal Zeus. Regal Zeus is probably one of the dangers, but lots of these horses are just poorly set up, or they're just going around at 1,600 again and again and again. So he's the fresh horse on the scene that I like, El Soliado. Loves 1,600 and weighted absolutely perfect. So I can't believe they put up $10. I'm not surprised he's into 7. Some other bookies have got him into $5.50, and Harry Coffey's perfect for this horse. And there's not many good riders sort of left down in Melbourne, and he'll be running a massive race, can sort of sit midfield or forward. He probably got on the chewy a little bit too much first up for my liking, El Soliado, but flying and knocked the fitness out of him. And I can see this horse going close to starting favourite, and I think he'll be very, very hard to catch. So that's
what about
my best at Flemington.
What about talk about trainer upgrade? Kieran Marta Bedgegood.
Yeah, St Lawrence.
Oh,
Dangerous.
my God. And the horse was actually airborne last prep. It was placed horribly late and sort of had spaced runs. And I think he's got a bit of burn about him, old Bedgegood, that he loves to win with horses straight away if he can off other trainers. I think he thrives on it. So a mile first up's pretty scary, but holy cow, it just stands out like dog's balls. It's a scary horse, doesn't it?
Definite horses you could save at $9. You could back 2 of them easily.
And if I had 100 horses and I had the option between the 2, the 100 would be going to him and none to the other. So he's a bloody good trainer, that fella. Yeah, he's a good trainer.
Yeah, very good trainer. GK, you had a look?
No, I was just looking at the markets at Flemington then, and I saw that Jimmy the Bear and Cafe Millennium were favourites on the card, so I just closed.
How far Cafe Millennium? Have they stepped it up or have they kept it at sprint?
1,400 metres.
Oh, I would have preferred 1,200.
Hey?
It's a suck horse, but I think it's a sprinter.
But it's only $4.80. It's come up very skinny.
If it was in 1,200 and everyone was opposing it because it was 1,200, it could have just bullied them. I thought, even if it was favourite, it would have had a bit of Raikkonen about it. But 1,400, yeah, flashing light run. Yeah. Suck.
It will suck a few in, but Red Galaxy went sneaky good, I thought, last start. Greg Earl, Craig Williams. And
Mexico.
Mexico. They look the two horses in the race, but the market's found them, so you probably have to move on anyway.
Mexico.
All right, that's a lot from us. So there's plenty of meat on the bone there. So you got Ipswich, you got the quaddy legs, you got the early race, couple of a lot from it's 3 races at Randwick. That's a bit of a treat for us. And then that one El Soleado, hopefully Robbie Lang and the Langs can get a victory at Flemington. And yeah, that's the end of the show for us.
We play on.
Yeah, hopefully Queensland win game 3. GK.
We're betting on who's going to referee game 3.
Ashley Klein. Doesn't he get them all? Doesn't he get him all?
He's $1 to not get the next one after every one, but he keeps getting the next one. So what does that normally say? That he's doing
his job.
What he's told.
He's a referee.
Yeah.
They're always right.
Yeah.
It's not kid sport. You can't go bashing them.
No, I think everyone just wants a good contest. Let's hope for that.
Oh, dear. Beautiful. Queensland keep winning, and hopefully everyone has a fill on the punt. We are a Queensland racing show, so good luck at Ipswich. Hope everyone gets a quaddie. Big thanks from me to you, GK, and we'll see you next week for Tats Tiara, and hopefully the Eagle Farm track is bounced back by then. But big thanks to Punting Form and Racing Queensland as well, and we'll see you next week.